Okay, this is one of the more difficult Bryce scenes to do. What this does is it uses uh, the the symmetrical lattice, which is similar to the mountain, to create three-dimensional shapes. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use this to create a sword, and I'm going to do it in multiple parts. So for example, I'm going to click my symmetrical lattice. I'm going to kind of drag it up a little bit here. And if I do edit, it lets us edit our mountain, however we do it, just kind of like we did before. However, what I'm going to do is go over here to Pictures, and I'm going to load a picture. Now, I've got a folder full of things that I've kind of put together here. If I use this sample, copy, paste it, and apply it, you'll see that it kind of gives this look similar to a blade, but it's obviously a lot thicker. I can also load this other one here that I did, copy, paste, and apply. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do my checkbox. So now what I have is this three-dimensional sword shape. I'm going to go to my metals and pick something like brushed silver, but you'll see it's obviously too tall, so I'm going to flatten it out a lot. Alright, and if I use my edit tool to rotate it up, and I'll pull in so you can get an idea of what it looks like here. Maybe I'll make it longer, and I'll view it. Okay, so you can see I have a sword. Okay, you'll also notice that the edges of the sword are beveled, and the reason that they're beveled is because I actually did a little bit of a blur on my picture. So for example, if I go back in here and edit this, you'll see that the edges are softer, and that means that they're lower, and so that they're a lower point in the picture, it makes them this beveled look. Alright, so let me go ahead and I'm going to load a different picture now. Let me do a thumbnails. And I have this other one over here that has inscriptions on it. I'm going to do copy, paste, and apply. And you'll see that it has these inscriptions, and they're not all the way through, they're just kind of etched in. So now when I preview it, not a very good preview. I believe one of the problems is that I didn't really give it a high enough definition on my blade. So what I'm going to do is change this to, say, a 512, and then apply. Okay, and if I check it now, you'll see that I get a pretty good effect. Alright, I'm going to use similar effects now, and go back to Create, choose my Symmetrical Lattice, edit this, change it to 512, load a different picture, such as, well, let's load my guard. Copy, paste, apply. Okay, so you can see how it's a little bit darker here, so that means it's kind of beveled downward. I'm going to go OK, drop the thing so it's flat, or at least relatively flat, and then rotate it around. And you can see how that I could now flip this around and use this with my sword. Let's go ahead and see if we can rotate that around. Now, I'm not going to take all the time to make sure these things fit perfectly together, because that can take a little while. But you can see that already I've got this pretty neat looking sword. Just needs a little bit of tweaking. Okay, and then that would mean the next thing is the handle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create Symmetrical Lattice, edit 512, and then again I'm going to load, let's say in this one, the handle. Copy, paste, apply. It's not quite as clear as the others, but once we drop it down a little bit so that it's flatter, it should apply pretty well. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, so this would be the handle, and I would choose a texture that would make it look like a good handle. And I'm going to create the one last piece here. And again, I'm not going to put this all together. I'm going to go load, and then I've got this thing called logo. Copy, paste, and basically what this is it's my initials. And what I use that for is the very butt of the sword. and I make it smaller, obviously, because that's going to go down under the handle. Okay, so it would be similar to this, only the piece here would actually be up into it, and I would make this piece probably some sort of metal, or I could do straw, or not straw, but you get the idea. And then this one, you can either do metal or you can do something else, like a different color metal. Alright, so that's the basics of the components to put a sword together. And what I tend to do is try to take this and add some effects and, maybe put it into a scene, such as this one here, which is partially rendered, and add a sunset, put it in the stone or whatever, and you can put a knight standing next to it, or whatever it is you're trying to do. So hopefully that works for you, and hopefully you enjoy this, and let me know how your project comes out. I'd like to see it.